Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. Get ready for a story that'll have you cheering, crying, and maybe yelling, "Hell yes!" at your screen. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. Entitled kids tried to shame me into giving up my inheritance. Grandpa wasn't just our neighbor, he was family. After my dad passed away when I was only 4, Grandpa, this quiet older man next door, stepped into our lives in the most unexpected way. He mowed our lawn, he brought over groceries when Mom was working overtime, he was there for birthdays, school concerts, and even that awkward middle school phase. He never asked for anything in return, he was just there. A steady presence, a surrogate, grandfather to me, and a friend to my mom during some of the hardest years of our lives. His own kids, practically ghosts. They lived states away, and in the 24 years I knew Grandpa, I can count on both hands how many times they visited. 10 times maybe, and even that's being generous. He rarely talked about them. I think it hurt him too much. But what he did talk about was pride. Pride in me finishing high school, going to college, helping my mom, and showing up for him. We were his family, and he was ours. The last few months of his life were brutal. He lost motor control, couldn't speak, and was completely dependent on others. Mom moved in to take care of him full-time on doctor's orders, and I came by every day after classes to help out where I could. Bathing, feeding, sitting with him in silence. We didn't do it expecting anything. We did it because we loved him. Then, 3 weeks before the end, the prodigal children returned. Out of the blue, they came swarming in, more panicked about what they'd inherit than about what he was going through. They made a scene at the hospital, demanded to speak with his doctors, and tried to act like they were suddenly the devoted children. It was performative at best, disgusting at worst. When he passed, the family gathered at Grandpa's home for the will reading. I'd already received notice from the lawyer that I'd been included, which honestly shocked me. I assumed maybe he'd left me something small, a keepsake. But what I wasn't prepared for was this. Grandpa left me his 3-bedroom apartment in the city, an investment property he'd purchased years ago and had been quietly renting out. And he also left me $50,000. His own kids? They received $75,000 each and his personal belongings, photos, heirlooms, old tools, jewelry. The house he'd lived in for decades was to be sold with the proceeds divided between a children's cancer charity and his grandkids' college funds. The room exploded. His kids were livid, screaming, crying, throwing around words like manipulated, coerced, unfair. But the will was solid. Grandpa had used a reputable lawyer. Everything had been signed, witnessed, and filed correctly. They didn't have a leg to stand on. Not legally. But that didn't stop them from trying. Later that night, 2 of his kids pulled me aside. Their tone had changed. Suddenly, they were reasonable. They told me I should do the right thing and hand over the apartment. They even tried to offer me $50,000 under the table, as if that was some kind of fair trade. Keep in mind, the apartment's worth nearly 3 times that. And it wasn't just about the money. It was a gift from someone I loved and who loved me. I told them no. That's when the mask dropped. They got nasty. Accusations flew about me, about my mom, even disgusting implications that my mother had manipulated Grandpa or had some sort of relationship with him. They didn't care how disrespectful or vile they sounded. All they saw was what they thought they were owed. I was still weighing the idea of compromise up until that last moment, but after that, I was done. I looked them in the eye and said, "Go F yourselves, I'm keeping it." They didn't take it well. One of the daughters, who happens to be a journalist, threatened to go public. She said she'd ruin my reputation, claim that my mother and I manipulated a lonely old man for financial gain, paint us as gold diggers, whatever she could come up with. She even implied she'd fabricate things if she had to. It was a full-on smear campaign threat. Thankfully, I had the foresight to start documenting everything as soon as Grandpa's health began declining. I kept records, texts, emails, photos, everything. I lawyered up immediately after the will was read. My attorney says I'm legally in the clear, and if they try anything, they'll be the ones facing consequences. Still, it hasn't been easy. Some extended family and even a few friends have told me I should have just taken their offer to keep the peace, that I should have avoided the drama. I told those people the same thing I told Grandpa's kids. F off. Grandpa didn't leave me that apartment out of guilt or manipulation. He left it to me because I was there, because I treated him like family, because I loved him without condition. That apartment isn't just real estate, it's a symbol of our relationship, a gift of gratitude, and a reminder of who really showed up for him when it mattered. I'm standing my ground. Let them talk, let them rage, let them try to spin their story. I know the truth, and so did Grandpa. She's a reporter? For who? Find out. Contact her editor and explain how she's threatening to use her position at that publication to libel you and you wish to make a formal complaint. And our second story. She made me stay late to do everyone else's job until I let her do hers. I work at a bakery and have for around 6 months. I really enjoy the coworkers and managers, but there's one shift lead who doesn't like me at all, even though I've tried talking and complimenting her. All I get, a straight face, stop messing around and get back to work. Whatever, I try not to let her get me down. I was closing with her tonight, and policy is that the shift lead has to check over everyone before clocking them out so nothing's accidentally forgotten, and it's their fault if something is. Her favorite coworker, which I'll call FC, got to go early, and she didn't check her over for anything, just smiled, hugged her, and waved her off while wishing her a good night and saying thanks. I noticed that FC forgot a large chunk of her closing duties. I was going to get the overtime and do it myself, but when I went to go get the shift lead and let her know, she said to me, "I know you're not done because this is way too quick, especially for you. Go back out there and triple check everything." Oof. Okay, girl. She makes me deep clean everything in my station, makes me fill up things to the brim to the point where it'll be a mess for morning people, but I do everything with a smile. By the time everything is to her standards, it's only me and her in the bakery because everyone else got to leave before me, which she's done before. She clocks me out and mumbles a deadpan, "Thanks, bye." I nod, go towards the door, and right before leaving through the front, get her attention so she has to look up at the entire darkened layout and say, "Oh no, looks like FC forgot to stack the chairs, sweep, and vacuum." "Well, good night," in the cheeriest voice I could. Felt so good. I hate when people pick favorites. Hopefully she'll learn not to do that next time. And I hope you got paid overtime. And our last story. My vegan sister tried to guilt trip me into changing the wedding menu. Weddings are supposed to be about love, celebration, and the coming together of two families, not about catering to one person's ever-growing list of demands. And yet, here I am, 3 months out from my wedding, and it's turning into the "My Sister Needs Special Treatment" show. My fiancé, 30-year-old male, and I, 28-year-old female, have been planning this wedding for over a year. We've carefully chosen every detail, from the venue to the flowers to a menu we were both really excited about. We've worked hard to create something that reflects us as a couple. And yeah, that includes the food. Here's where things start to unravel. About 2 months ago, my sister, 26-year-old female, decided to go vegan, and look, good for her. I have zero issue with someone choosing that lifestyle. In fact, we'd already made sure there were some vegan options on the menu, an appetizer, a main, and even a dessert. It's not a fully customized vegan experience, but it's respectful, thoughtful, and inclusive. But that wasn't enough for her. She pulled me aside during a family dinner and said, "So I saw the menu and I'm a little surprised. Where's the vegan entree? Like a real one. I can't just eat side salad and bread rolls." I explained kindly that the menu had already been finalized with the caterers. It's a small local business we love and we're working within a budget. Any major changes now would not only cost us more, but also cause a logistical nightmare. But I did say we could make sure her meal was vegan-friendly and filling. I even offered to swap her dessert for a special vegan one. Cue the eye roll. "It's not just about me, it's about respecting people's ethical choices," she said. "It's honestly kind of alienating that you didn't think of me when planning this." I didn't know how to respond at first. We'd sent out the menu in advance after she became vegan, specifically so anyone with dietary needs could give us a heads up. She never said anything until now, well after we paid the deposit and locked everything in. I asked if she could be a bit flexible given the circumstances. Her response, "If you can't take my needs seriously, I'm not sure I want to be a part of this day." And that's when I snapped. I bent over backward to make this day welcoming. We'd made space for dietary choices, allergies, kids, and more. But my sister wanted the spotlight. And when she didn't get it, she went nuclear. So I replied calmly and without drama, "I'm so sorry you're going to miss our wedding then. Enjoy your day." That was it. No arguing, no negotiating, just done. She hasn't spoken to me since. At first, I felt awful. She's my sister after all, but the more I think about it, the more I realize how much of our relationship has been me giving and her taking. She always finds a way to make any event revolve around her, birthdays, holidays, even other people's baby showers. There's always a meltdown, always a demand, and you know what? I'm tired. My fiance's been incredibly supportive. We're building a life together, not auditioning for your sister's approval, he said, and he's right. We're not hosting a restaurant. This is a wedding. Our wedding. The day's meant to reflect our love, not survive a checklist of someone else's expectations. My parents are staying neutral. They don't want to take sides, though I think deep down they know she's being unreasonable. A few other relatives have tried the whole "can't you just accommodate her" angle, but they weren't the ones signing the catering contracts or footing the bill. Funny how easy it is to suggest changes when you're not the one who has to implement them. So now we're moving forward. The invites are out, the RSVPs are rolling in, and the planning is continuing without her input or drama. Her RSVP, still blank. And honestly, that might be for the best. At the end of the day, we're focusing on what matters, marrying the person I love, surrounded by the people who are happy to be there without conditions or ultimatums. And if that means one less guest who needs everything to revolve around her, that's a win. Lesson learned. Boundaries are the real secret ingredient to a peaceful wedding. Your sister's just being an entitled pain in the butt. Her behavior right now is what gives vegans a bad reputation. Tell her to eat before she comes, and then she'll just have to make do with the vegan options that are available. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.